hṛdaye kandare spurato vasachinandana janalambita bhajo kanakabadato sankirtanaikapitaro kamalaya takshum vishwambaro dayavaro jugadharmapalo vande jagatpriyakaro karunavataro Ladini Shakti Swarupaya Gauranga Suridaya Bhakta Shakti Pradhanaya Gadadhara Namostute He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Radhi Vindavanish Davishe Karunamrita Vahini Kripaya Nija Padabjadasyan Mahyam Pradiyatam Bhaktya Vihinaya Aparada Lakshaya Shiptashagamaditarangamadi Kripamai Tvam Sharanam Prapanam Vrinde Namaste Charanarabindam Vrinde Namaste Charanarabindam Srila Gurudev Ki Jai Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Shri Gaur Radha Madhav Ki Jai Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Shri Gopi Gita Ki Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Om. So, good afternoon to all of you. Thank you very much for being present there again. As I can see, Arjun Sid is recording the meeting, so I don't have to touch anything this time. So today we are in our 12th meeting concerning Gopi Gita, and we will be discussing today the 10th verse of the whole Gopi Gita, the Song of the Gopis. So let's go first of all with this brief summary of our not so brief yesterday lecture, because we were going through a very interesting verse, very well-known one, and with very interesting nuanced possibilities. So we were studying 9th verse of Gopi Gita, Tavagatamritam tapta jivanam kavibiriditam kalmasapaham dhyāna-maṅgalam srimādātatam bhuvi grinanti ye burida janaha. There the gopis are turning their attention to Harikatamrita and its attributes. So they say the mortal beverage of your words and the narration of your activities are the very life of those who suffer in the material existence. Such narrations distributed by poetic sages eradicate one's karma and bestow auspiciousness upon those who hear them. These narrations are most beautiful, and being endowed with spiritual power, they flood the world. Those who recite them are the most charitable of all. So this is, as we mentioned, the external meaning, if you will, even though it's quite internal and quite deep, is nonetheless the one connected to the overt significance of the verse, connected to one group of gopis called the Dakshin Bhav, the right-wing gopis. And also we mentioned that there is a second meaning of this verse, more connected to another group of gopis, the left-wing ones, the Bhamya Bhav. But for a moment, regarding the official meaning, if you will, the overt meaning of the verse, the gopis here are speaking about the virtues of the song about Krishna, about Harikatamrita, which is Amrita, which gives life, constant life. So they express themselves in their own plight, dying in separation, but not being able to die because Harikata is giving them newer and newer life, and they cannot stop speaking about that. That's the point. Even if they try, that's not a fact for the gopis. So this Harikatamrita is maintaining them. So we spoke a little bit about different types of amrita, different types of nectar, if you will, in the two senses of the term. Actually, real nectar has to do with totally dispelling darkness, if you will, or totally bestowing auspiciousness. So only Harikatamrita can have that name, if you will, fully. Because we spoke about other types of amrita, Swarga Amrita, the nectar of heavenly planets, which is actually non-immortal and not fully positive, if we will, as we discuss its implications. Also, we spoke about the nectar of immortality, which can deal with certain level of karma, but we have to wait to let our prarabdha karma to play out, and at the same time, it's not bestowing a positive attainment related to love, affection, connection with Bhagavan. So only this, all that will come by Harikatha, and only by Harikatha we can obtain all this, as the Bhagavatam will say, even in a moment. Of course, in a moment, maybe some years, some lifetimes, but that's still a moment in the context of having been wandering without a beginning for uncountable lifetimes in the samsara. So the gopis are on one side praising this idea of Harikatha, its different qualities of giving life, cleansing all sin, bestowing all auspiciousness, being fully powerful, filled with power, and being spread by great sages and poets, being themselves the greatest charitable person, giving the great welfare work for the whole humanity, going right to the roots of the real necessity of life. So that's the general meaning of the verse, but also we turn our attention to a very particular type of interpretation of this verse, more connected to the Bhamya left-wing gopis, and in the context of Vyajastuti. Vyajastuti has to do with praise in the form of disguise. Praise disguised, as criticism, basically. So this is a very artful and sweet and deep way of glorifying someone, and the gopis, certain gopis are doing that here. So when the whole implication for this verse is, Harikatha is very nice, all those things that the other gopis say, but when you are there, if you are not present, this Harikatha is exactly the opposite. So if we hear Harikatha from someone else and not from you, that's causing us death, not amrita, immortality, but mortality. Tavakata mrita. And tapta jivanam is throwing us, like if we will be like a drop of water thrown into an ocean of hot oil. Tapta jivanam can mean that. Also, not giving new life in this case, but tapta means oil and jivana means water. So if you throw water in oil, you know what will happen. You will be totally evaporated immediately. And also, kavi vireditam, yes, the poets speak about that, but poets are poets. They exaggerate everything to the point of saying things that are actually not true. And they are not actually eradicating all pain. Eventually, they are creating new degrees and experiences of distress. That's our experience, the gopis are saying. And dhyāna-maṅgalam, yes, it's hearing, it's auspicious to hear, but only auspicious to hear. It's nice to hear, but in theory, when you go to the realm of realization and insight, that's not auspicious at all, because you are not appearing, even though we speak about you, we hear about you, and so on. And regarding the dissemination of the topics, the gopis present this idea that this is actually distributed by cruel people who want to kill everyone by paying to different pandits, being themselves, these people, totally intoxicated, by Sri, totally mad, totally intoxicated by Sri, by wealth. So they pay to people, to pandits, they hire them, go to different villages, start to speak about Harikatha, make other people beggars, ruin their material life, and commit genocide, basically. And in this way, burida means to give good fortune, but also it can mean to sever all good fortune. So in this way, the gopis say these people who speak Harikatha are severing good fortune, especially starting from ourselves. So of course, again, this is a very sweet and interesting indirect way of praising Krishna. So this is a very nice verse, and it was very near and dear to Mahaprabhu himself. We also shared at the end the story of Prataparudra Maharaj invoking this Gopi Gita, and just when invoking this verse, Mahaprabhu feeling so much pleasure, embracing him, giving him his darshan. So in this same way, we are praying that through this study of the Gopi Gita, we may be also accepted as the servant of the servants, such as Prataparudra Maharaj was accepted. So summary of yesterday's talk. Let's go to today's verse. Let me introduce this verse and the series of verses that will come here in connection to something that Jiva Goswami mentions in his Lagu Vaishnava Toshani, his commentary to the 10th canto of the Bhagavad. So he's mentioning that in the previous verse, the gopis praised the song about Krishna, Harikatha. So according to Jiva Goswami, Krishna might respond to the gopis saying like, I'm hard to get. We know that. At least the one we want is not easy to obtain. As once someone asked Sridhar Maharaj, have you seen Krishna? Sridhar Maharaj said, the Krishna I want to see is not easy to see. It's not cheap. That particular Krishna. No? So we are trying to follow into these footsteps and hear through the mouth of Jiva Goswami Krishna saying, I'm hard to get. Not impossible, but not easy, not cheap. I'm hard, difficult, challenging. That's the middle point. That's what we need. So he's saying, I'm hard to get. To the gopis, he's saying, why are you projecting so much love on me? Why are you investing so much hope? Why are you putting all your time, energy, all risk in someone who is so fickling than me, unstable, complex, crooked? So if you feel that way, just be happy simply speaking about me, listening Harikatha from me. Because the gopis were speaking about the glories of Harikatha, and taking the first meaning of the previous verse. No, Harikatha is so glorious, it bestows all the things. So Krishna may say, well, so just listen Harikatha from me, and that's all. So the gopis, they are suspecting, anticipating this possible answer from Krishna. They are not deriving any happiness at all from such an idea. So in 3 verses, starting from today, verse 10, 11, and 12, the gopis will reply to this possible retort from Krishna by finding fault in Krishna with his act involving his previous expressions of love. No? The point is, Krishna may say, just hear Harikatha about me and that's enough. And they will say, no. Because before, we had some interactions with you through different expressions that we will start to see today. And by those things, your glances, your words, your smile, you imparted Cupid in us. You agitated in such a way that now just hearing Harikatha is not full enough for us. We need you here back. We need to see you. We need your darshan. So today's verse number 10, will be the first of these 3 verses where the gopis will lovingly find fault in Krishna. In Krishna's argument, I'm just hear Harikatha from me. No, it's not enough. Because you did some things before that created certain level of eagerness in us that we won't be satisfied only by Harikatha. We need you here. So let's go to the first one of this series of 3 verses. Of course, we will see only that one. And the following 2 meetings, we will see the remaining 2. So I will share the verse with you here. Give me 1 minute. So if you would like to follow, there's a verse. So I'll recite it in Sanskrit, and the ones who like, you can join. Prahasitaṁ priya-prema-vīkṣaṇaṁ viharaṇaṁ ca te dhyāna-maṅgalam rahasi saṁvido hṛdi spṛśaḥ kuhaka no manaḥ kṣobhayanti. So translation of the verse, Gopis here is saying, your smiles, your sweet, loving glances, the intimate pastimes and confidential talks we enjoy with you, all these are auspicious to meditate upon, and they touch our hearts. But at the same time, O deceiver, they very much agitate our minds. So again, the gopis, as I told you, they are presenting certain reasons for them not to be fully satiated with harikatha and to continue further expand on their argument as to why Krishna should appear before them. So here they're mentioning 4 points connected to the gopis' previous interaction with Krishna concerning his smile, sweet glances, pastimes, and conversations. So they start saying here, prahasitaṁ priya-prema-vīkṣaṇaṁ. So prahasitaṁ means smile, like hasya. Hasya has to do with joking. So prahasita, which is connected, has to do with a very special type of smiling. Prahasitaṁ priya. They qualify that by saying priya. Priya means affectionate in this case. So prahasitaṁ priya, you're affectionate, smiling. Prema-vīkṣaṇaṁ. Prema-vīkṣaṇaṁ. Prema means with love, and vīkṣaṇaṁ means glances. So the second point is there. Your loving glances. Prema-vīkṣaṇaṁ. Viharaṇaṁ chate. Cha means and. Viharaṇaṁ te. Te means your. And viharaṇaṁ. Viharaṇaṁ means in general way pastimes. Vihar. Like they say Banki Bihari and so on. Braj Bihari. The one who executes Bihar. Bihar means lila, divine plane. So viharaṇaṁ, intimate pastimes. This is the third point the gopis mentioned. Viharaṇaṁ chate. And in the midst, they will say dhyāna-maṅgalam. Dhyāna-maṅgalam means mangalam, auspicious, and dhyana means meditate, by meditation. So all the things, and now we will mention the fourth one, are very auspicious to meditate upon. Your smile, your glance, your pastimes, and the last one, which is rahasi saṁvido. Rahasi saṁvido. Rahasi means secret, or in this case, like in a solitary place, confidential, and saṁvido means conversations. So the gopis here refer to those intimate, confidential talks that Krishna had with them. That's the fourth point. All of them are auspicious to meditate upon, the gopis say. So that's the first part of the presentation. They enumerate these 4 items, mentioning all of them. They are dhyāna-maṅgalam, and especially, and then they mention also hṛdi spṛśaḥ, more connected to the last one. hṛdi spṛśaḥ means which, all of them, but specifically the last one, as we will say, this is like an crescendo, these 4 points. hṛdi is our heart, spṛśaḥ, touching. This is heart touching. All these things that we mentioned, as we mentioned, are auspicious to meditate upon, and they touch our hearts. They're really moving the deepest core of our being. So, the last line is coming here. Because of all this, the point is, kuhaka no manaḥ kṣobhayanti. So they refer to Krishna as kuhaka. Kuhaka means cheater. So a very intimate way. No, not everyone will call Krishna a cheater. For sure, not anyone outside of Braj. Inside Braj, we have many possibilities. Yashoda even may call Krishna a cheater in certain contexts. His friends, of course. And in the gopis as well here, in the particular mood they are in. Now we will unpack more about the meaning of kuhaka. So, oh deceiver, oh cheater, at the same time, all this is auspicious, all this touches our heart, but again, you are not here, so the implication is you are not here. So, no manaḥ, na manaḥ means our mind, na means our minds, manaḥ, kṣobhayanti. He means indeed, and kṣobhayanti, agitate. So all the things are auspicious, touch our heart, but also are agitating our minds too much because we are not here. You are not here, sorry. In your presence, they already created some agitation, some fire, some desire, divine love. So that created some fire in our connection, in our association with you. And now that you are not giving your association, there is no sangha, there is asanga, there is lack of association. That's agitating us in another way. That's throwing us into the blazing fire of separation. All those things that were so pleasing, so sweet, so auspicious. When we were with you, now we are not here, and that fire is taking another form, and we are burning on earth in that particular viraha agni, the fire of separation. So this is the general idea of the verse and the word by word translation. So let's try to expand on that a little bit. So connected again to the previous verse, we always try to, there's always some connection between verses, so that's an important point to notify. So the gopis again were living on song about Krishna. That was keeping their lives in, no? Tapta jivanam, tavakatamritam tapta jivanam. This was said previous verse. So in this way, they were able to maintain their life even in Krishna's absence. We already made that clear. That was the reason. It's not that the gopis are sustaining their existence in a selfish way with some separate agenda and desire that still maintains them with life. That's the point. Whatever maintains us with life is the hope of fulfilling our desires. So if Krishna is not our full life and soul, well, we are maintaining our life with other type of hopes, with our own agenda. As Guru Maharaj would say the other day, Swanishta, our own faith, our own idea about who is Krishna, who are we, if you will, still an independent agenda, even in the context of bhakti in certain level, that can happen. Our life is not exclusively maybe maintained by the force of Harikatha, remembrance of Krishna, because still there may be some other hopes that we will want to fulfill, and that maintain our existence. And if those hopes are not fulfilled, sometimes we feel we are dying. So here in the case of the gopis, we find a very different standard that is an ideal to attain. Now, besides one's own affinity, as Uddhava prayed when he was leaving Braj in his famous sloka, Asammaho charanarena jusamahamsim Vrindavane kimapi gulmalato shadiman swajanam aryan patam chahitva Bijur Mukunda Padavinshati Vimregam. He was praying to be born as a Bash in Vrindavan, so the gopis may trample on that, and he may receive the dust of the lotus of gopis' feet and become imbibed by their love. But the point is not, it's not that Uddhava wanted to be a gopi. Uddhava wanted to be affected by the intensity of the gopis' love in his own affinity towards Krishna. So that's the point here also. This narration is not only serving to nurture the Manjari Bhav Upasakas, the one who aspired toward the relationship of a gopi, eventually in the Nitya Lila, but also to anyone else who may receive inspiration, draw inspiration from the intense emotional intensity of the Braja Gopikas. So they are only living for Krishna. They are sustaining their lives, even they are dying there. Again, as we say, they are not dead, they are not alive, they are in between of that, in separation from Krishna. And as we say, they are sustaining their lives on Harikatha exclusively, but their lives are not free from disturbances, we can see. And they want more. It's not enough only Harikatha for them. And it's not because they are not appreciating Harikatha. They are really the topmost exponents of Harikatha. So that takes them to so many other forms, Nama, Guna, Rupa, Lila. So explaining why they want more, explaining why, another way of saying to Krishna, appear before us, they continue with this verse. So again, the previous verse, let me go for a minute there to connect further, had a particular meaning when it was recited by certain gopis whose nature was submissive, and it had another meaning when it was spoken but the gopis whose mood was bhamya or contrary. So it's spoken in a contrary mood. In this case, now we go here to this verse, the gopis are saying, in connection to the other one, I mean, it's a connection actually. It's interestingly because this verse is quite connected to the interpretation of the previous one, connected to the contrary mood, because the gopis were saying in the previous verse, when you are not here, speaking about you is killing us, because speaking about you implies remembering about you and all the exchanges we had with you that we are not having now. And which are those exchanges? The one that they are clearly mentioned here. They start to begin to mention them here and also in the next two verses. So the gopis are basically implying, we recall that your loving pastimes with us, your sweet words with us, all these were so delightful. But in separation from you, when we hear someone repeat your words, recount your pastimes to us, speaking about your smile, your glance, your leelas, your talks, as they mentioned here, it causes us so much pain. Our pastimes with you, the gopis imply, are a source of so much joy. But when we remember those pastimes in separation from you, in your absence, that's certainly not a festivity, at least overtly. Again, the festival goes on in one form or another, union or separation. It continues to be a total exaltation of rasa. But please try to understand how this plays out in the dynamic of union and separation in romantic love. For example, I don't know, Krishna may tell to Sri Radha, "Oh Radhika, you are the very life of my life. You are my praneshwari." Sometimes we hear praneshwar towards Krishna, but there is also praneshwari. So that's a name that Krishna will mention to them. The Manjaris will call Radha with those names, praneshwari, mistress of my life, basically. So Krishna will say, "Oh Praneshwari, you are the very life of my life. I cannot live without you. Tavai Vashmi, na jivami tvaya vina," says Raghunath Das. I'm yours, my life belongs to you, I cannot live without you. So Krishna repeats this similar idea from his particular angle, but he has a very similar discourse to that of the Manjaris, because the Manjaris will say to Radha, "You are my mistress, no? I cannot live without you. My life sustains on you, I'm yours." So Krishna will say the same to Radha from his particular angle of vision, of course. So the point is, Krishna may tell that to Sri Radha, and these words will fill Radhika with happiness fully. But when she's in separation of Krishna, she's reminded of those same words in Krishna's absence, she will be overwhelmed with deep sadness. Or another example, a friend from Sri Radharani may tell her, "Krishna leaves all the other gopis for you." That's a classical line there. He's for you there. So if Sri Radha is hearing those words, when she and Krishna are together, it's one thing. When they are apart, those same words will evoke in her memories of their pastimes together, and they cause unbearable distress. That, of course, in the inside still is sweet, still is nectar. Bahi bisa jalahoy bitari anandamoy Krishna, prema abdutachari. The overwhelming, astonishing quality of prem is that externally may present itself as poison, but internally, the relishing is topmost. So it's important for us to go beyond the appearance of the situation and go to the substance. Go deeper, as Mahaprabhu said to Ramananda, go deeper. So again, in this 10th verse, the gopis are continuing this line of thought that were implied in the previous verse by the left-wing gopis. Without you, we are dying, because we are remembering, as they say here, smile, glances, 4 phrases they mentioned here, 4 things describing different captivating features of Krishna. His smile, his glance, his lila with them, and his secret talks. And of course, the subsequent affliction coming from separation, viraha, from him. So on one side, of course, again, the gopis are saying, dhyāna-maṅgalam, it is a fact that meditation gives the highest bliss. Meditation in these 4 items related to you, dhyāna-maṅgalam, supremely auspicious. But thinking again of these 4 things is agitating our minds here now. Kṣobhayanti means agitation. If we in separation think about your smile to us, your glances towards us with so much meaning inside of all of the encrypted content, your exchanges, your conversations, you are not here. So as soon as all this is entering our minds, they immediately give pleasure for a moment, but at a moment later, we realize we are not there. So they will give the most intense sorrow. Sometimes the experience of separation after union is compared to the one of a thunderbolt in the midst of deep dark night. So the night is quite dark, and suddenly a thunderbolt comes and shows everything very clearly. So but the thunderbolt appears and disappears very quickly. So after the thunderbolt disappears, whatever was dark will become even darker by the contrast of the flashing light of the thunderbolt. So this is the idea of separation and union. The gopis feel separation is dark. When Krishna reappears, it's like thunderbolt. So everything becomes to shine so nicely, but when he disappears again, it becomes even darker. And that's why you are the greatest cheater, the gopis say, kuhaka. No? We thought something, but now we are suffering like this. Your appearance gives pleasure, but immediately we experience the highest sorrow. So in the context of romantic love, they call him cheater. Now that's an indirect way of saying, please come back. Appear to us, we are dying. Yesterday we spoke about how the devotees are cheating death. So here the gopis are calling Krishna, you are a cheater. But you are cheating us, how do you say in English? Cheating out to death, cheating us to the point of throwing us to death. So that's too much cheating. They will continue calling Krishna cheater in other verses for other purposes, we will see eventually. In his Sarartha Darshini, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur expands on the idea of Krishna being a cheater, and by implication, as we mentioned, a thief, a liar, a killer. So he paraphrases the gopis, and he says, the gopis say, when a rogue, when a thief feeds you poison cakes, at first they seem tasty. They seem like a cake. But after some time, they will give intense pain, and they will kill you. The idea is like sweet. This poison cakes smell like sweet fried cakes. They will be in ghee. Oh, very tasty for everyone. But inside of that, there is some poison. So if you receive such a cake by a deceitful person, after a while, it is said they will burn like hell, and it will drain all your vitality. So that's what the gopis are experiencing, and not precisely only on a physical level, but her whole existence is leaving them, basically. So in other words, the gopis are saying here to Krishna, you yourself, you are the reason we cannot be satisfied simply by hearing your pastimes. Other people is satisfied simply by hearing your pastime, but you interacted with us in such a way that we cannot be fully satisfied with that. So again, you are the guilty one, if you will. The fault is lying in your previous loving dealings with us, in Purva Rag. Now they go to the Purva Rag section, which means this the condition where the gopis did not officially join Krishna, met Krishna for the first time, but this type of anticipation, when they already were hearing about Krishna, Krishna was looking at them, they were looking at him, he was smiling at them, the flute was sounding, the gopis were hearing. Venu Gita is an example of that. Gopis wanting to offer Krishna their very lives, but still that's not happening. But with all those udipanas, with all those stimulants, Krishna was like feeding this fire of desire. So the gopis are saying, you are the one responsible here. What can we do? For example, an example of this also on the daily dynamics of Krishna. When Krishna is going cow-herding, of course he's going with his friends, he will play with them, he's going with the cows, he will feed them, and there are many levels of purpose in that, and it's there's love there. But as we know, the whole of Raj eventually converges to the union of Radha and Krishna, into the conception of Madhurya Bhav. So there's also a ultimate purpose in that connection in this regard, with Krishna's cow-herding. So the Charas explained, with Krishna is going to cow-herd. Eventually, ultimately, it's with the main purpose of meeting with the gopis, creating different excuses on the way to have that affair with them. Whatever, even besides cow-herding, whatever Krishna is going to Braj, it's always with the intention of meeting with the gopis there. For example, I don't know, in the early morning, Krishna is going to have bath in the Jamuna River. He says so, at least. I'm going to take bath. But he's not going to take bath. His reason is very separate, different. Maybe he eventually takes bath as I have to do so just to justify myself, some sprinkling or whatever. But he simply is there and standing under a kadamba tree on a Jamuna's bank, waiting for the gopis. He knows gopis are coming daily to fill their pots with Jamuna water. So that's a real bath he wants to have. He wants to have an abhishek in the gopis' affection, basically. So these are the pretexts. On similar pretexts, he's arranging to go wherever the gopis are going on a daily basis. If he knows the gopis are going to Govardhan to perform whatever worship there or something, he will find an excuse to be there, no doubt. That's the nature of purva-rag, what we are mentioning here, the anxious anticipation to meet with one's beloved, creating excuses for this. And of course, Krishna is not the only one doing this. The gopis eagerly want to meet with Krishna also. They also find endless excuses to do so. They will tell their superiors, I don't know, we are going to perform certain worship to Suryadev, Parvati, Durgama, whoever. So in this way, sometimes they are planning all that, but sometimes, as you know, as they are about to meet with Krishna, sometimes one of their superiors comes along, one Jatila, Chandravali's husband, Govardhan Mala, or whoever. So their plans will be frustrated there. But all these are the intricacies and dynamics in purva-rag. First type of separation that you feel from your beloved, even before officially meeting him, her. So the gopis are connecting this person with those moments, with those who deepen as they receive theirs. So let's briefly analyze each one of the four. And again, they say dhyāna-maṅgalam, hṛdi spṛśaḥ. The term dhyāna-maṅgalam, auspicious to meditate upon, and hṛdi spṛśaḥ, touching our heart touching. This term modifies all these four phrases. They affect that. It's all of them: smile, glance, pastimes, and talks, conversations. So they give the highest joy, even if you meditate upon them. But of course, again, the gopis are saying, in our particular case, they are given the highest distress. So let's go to the first one. Prahasitaṁ priya. Prahasitaṁ priya. Prahasitam, again, very particular type of smiling. Hasya has to do with smiling. It's interesting how the Sanskrit works, no? Because generally hasya rasa means joking mood, but hasya has to do with smiling. So the point is, if you smile, it means some joking is there. Joking in one sense. So here it says prahasitam priya. So many qualifiers there. Pra has to do with a very special type of smile. He smiles in an eminent way, or conveying a particular intention behind the smile. Pra. We say prabhav, and so many other words with pra. Prachar, prahasitam. And priya, again, priya also speaks of the smile, affectionate smile. So the smile is actually sending a whole message to the gopis, every single smile. So he smiles in an eminent way, gopis are saying here. And of course, this meditation on Krishna's smile, this is very recommended, even connected to other forms of Bhagavan. For example, in the Bhagavad, in the third canto, Kapila Dev, he's instructing Devahuti, his mother. He says in chapter 28, he says, dhyāna-maṅgalam prahasitam. Similar to here. Here he says, dhyāna-maṅgalam, prahasitam priya, dhyāna-maṅgalam. He says, dhyāna-yanam prahasitam. He's speaking about the yogi should meditate on, so here mentions, on Vishnu's laughter, smile. Vishnu is also smiling. Different type of smile, of course. Vishnu is one thing, Krishna and Braj is another thing. But he's saying one should meditate on the laughter of Vishnu, which is dhyāna-nayam, conducive to meditation. So what to speak of Krishna's meditation? For the gopis, is totally conducive. They are fully absorbed in that smile. And it is said that the smile never abandons Krishna. It's never leaving him for any moment. From whenever angle of vision you are looking at him, the smile will be always there. Will be always there. Sometimes it's different analogies are there. Sometimes compared to an bow, that is throwing some arrows. Cupid is entering one of the different arrows of Cupid, as we will see eventually. Gopis will say, your smile is one of the arrows of Cupid, piercing us. It's like a bow. And the message is through the smile, the affection there is the arrow. You are imparting Cupid through that. So the point is that Krishna's smile never abandons him. Even in a critical situation, complex situation, whatever, it is said that Krishna is always smiling. Somehow or other, to give hope, to give support, to show affection. He always has a reason to smile, let's say. That's why he's God and the Supreme Personality of God. He always has a reason to smile. And with that, he's also, of course, reminding us, he also has always a reason to smile, because at least you are in connection with that one who always has a reason to smile. In the prospect of loving exchange, we will say that. Krishna is Rasika. He's always open to the prospect of rasa, to the prospect of increasing the loving experience. So that makes him smile at every single moment. That gives him his life purpose, the reason for his existence, raison d'être, as they say in French. So that should become as well our own life purpose. We are trying to establish a connection with such a smiler, with such a person who is carrying such a deep sense of meaning and purpose in his own life and trying to extend and share that with us. So we are so fortunate. We should be always smiling. Smiling not necessarily externally. Sometimes you can be also serious, as I always share when someone asks Srila Prabhupada, why are you so serious? In some pictures, he appears really serious. You may think he's angry. And he said, because Krishna consciousness is a very serious issue. So I'm always contemplating the depth of Krishna Bhakti. That's why I'm so serious. So also, there's place for seriousness, Gambhira. Gambhira means seriousness, something very grave, deep, serious. But if you are really serious in that sense, you will have the best of your smiles. Nobody will have a better smile than you. When you are, we have the whole art is how to know how to be properly serious and properly smiling. So Krishna is sharing. Now we are concentrating on the smile side. Of course, he's quite serious when he wants to be, so smiling at the same time. So we should learn from all this. So prahasitaṁ priya, first point, smile. Prema-vīkṣaṇaṁ, the second one, prema-vīkṣaṇaṁ, prem-filled glances, glances that are carrying a deep message to the heart of the gopis. And of course, the message has to do with prem. Prema-vīkṣaṇaṁ. You can convey lots of things. You can say many things through glances. It is said that the eyes are like the windows of the soul. As we spoke on the day of vulnerability and empowerment, this experiment that was done by this artist, that she sit with other people and just looking right into their eyes and trying just to penetrate the other person through the eyes, basically, and vice versa, to really connect from the most visceral and naked state of being. So the glance had that power. And that's why some people cannot stand looking at the eyes of other people, because whatever reason they may have. But in this case, Krishna is piercing the gopis, another arrow piercing the gopis through his prema-vīkṣaṇaṁ, his prem-filled glances. As I say, imparted Cupid upon them through certain intention, to a certain type of affection being directed by that particular arrow. The gopis imply this: the way you are wandering in front of us, you walk in front of us, you have one hand on the shoulder of your friend, for example, and typical image of Krishna with, like in the Purva Rak, before officially meeting the gopis. This happens even on this world on some level. The guys are between them, the friends, and the girls appear, and the guys start to act in a certain way, trying to take the attention of the other party, but between themselves, but having that in mind. And so that's why Nara Lila is so close to us, because it resembles our own experience but of course totally devoid of selfishness and exploitation. So Krishna here is with his friends, putting his one arm on the shoulder of one friend, and on the other hand, he's twirling a play hand lotus, twirling. So the gopis say, when we see that, that can compare to nothing, with nothing else. In the Bhagavad-gīta, this is this famous verse pronounced by Sri Radha. Akshambantam phalamidam na param vidamam sakyar pasudanu vivesatayo vayasya bhaktram brajistasutayo nabenu justam nairbani pitamanu rakta katakshamoksham. To see you in that particular situation represents the perfection of one's eyes. Such a scenery, you with your friend. It's a very particular pranam mantra that the ones after Madhurya Bhav can recite when they have darshan of Krishna Balaram, for example. They will worship Krishna Balaram from the perspective of Sri Radha, who pronounces this verse, trying to please her while she's looking at Krishna Balaram, just appreciating that sight and feeling, the friends can be all day long, open air with Krishna in front of everyone. I would like to have that opportunity. I have that eagerness, and so on. So Krishna here, the Gopi saying, with his friend, and Gopi saying, nothing can compare with that sight. You are resting your hand on your shoulder of your friend, no? And with this, you are indicating something to the Gopi through your glance as well. You're saying, I would like to be with you, he's saying, and place my hand on your shoulder. That's the fortune of the Gopis. No? They receive the embrace of Krishna, which not even Lakshmi is able to do that. Ayam shriyam gao nitanta rate prashanam. Swaryositam nalina gandaruchan kutonya. Say Sudha. Not even Lakshmi, what to speak of heavenly denizens of heaven, mundane woman. The Gopis in the Rasots of Rasa Lila were fortunate to receive Krishna's hands around their necks. So the Krishna is doing that with his friend, but looking at the Gopis like saying, next time it will be with you. And on the other hand, he's twirling a lotus to convey them, my mind and heart spin with a desire to be with you. So if I cannot meet with you, I will surely die. He's saying all those things by glances and by certain movements and gestures. So the Gopis are lovingly blaming Krishna here. That's why we are so mad after you now, because you are imparting this Cupid on us. That actually the Cupid is in your heart, as Krishna is implying here. If I cannot meet with you, I will die. So the Gopis fully embrace Krishna's necessity, and they say now, if we cannot meet with you, we will die, because we know you will die if you cannot meet with us. So this is the full circle. So this is the second point. Prahasitaṁ priya-prema-vīkṣaṇaṁ. And then they say viharaṇaṁ. Viharaṇaṁ means confidential pastimes. So this is a very interesting concept. Viharaṇaṁ, confidential pastimes. So in general way we can say confidential pastime, but also the word viharaṇaṁ, hara, if you may know, means theft. Hari is the one who steals away. So hara means theft. And vihara, vi means also very special type of. Like we say vibhav, bhairagya, vishesh, whatever. So viharaṇaṁ. So a special kind of theft. Interestingly, the Sanskrit lends itself to that, because the verb ha in Sanskrit means to steal. So according to this specific definition, viharaṇaṁ, of course, it's not referring to stealing money, but to stealing the heart. A special kind of theft. It's not just putting the hand of another one's pocket, but putting the hands in one's heart and taking it away. So the Gopis are saying, vihara means confidential pastimes, and the implication is through those pastimes, viharaṇaṁ, to stole our hearts. Also in connection to viharaṇaṁ, the term viharaṇaṁ also is denoting to walk with friends. That can also interpret it in that way, or to walk with a lady. Sanskrit is very flexible, as you see. So viharaṇaṁ means pastime, but also in the context of pastime, means or to walk with friends or to walk with a lady. So when the Gopis say here viharaṇaṁ, it can have these two applications depending in which case. If the Gopis are referring here to their attraction to Krishna in Purva Rag, before their first intimate meeting with him, of course, viharaṇaṁ will mean to walk with a friend, not to walk with a lady, because ladies, were not able yet to walk with him. So in this particular instance, is what we said already. Krishna is casually walking with his friends, and during his parade, he's only showing his desire to meet with them, walking in a carefree way, resting one hand on his friend's shoulder, twirling the lotus in the other one. So in this way, he's like pulling the gopis' heart, at the gopis' heart. And the gopis, of course, looking that they lose all awareness of everything else and become mad. Venu Gita, as I said before, was sung in Purva Rag. Venu Gita, which is chapter 21 of the 10th canto. The gopis are singing before meeting Krishna officially, hearing the flute. But now, Gopi Gita, the gopis have already met Krishna. Now we're in separation after that. So this is another type of separation, as you know. There are 4 types of vipralambha: Purvarag, Prabhas, and prema-vīkṣaṇaṁ. So now they're experiencing prabhas, which is separation due to physical distance, time, circumstance. Man is the 3rd one, which will be separation through some sulky mode. And prema-vīkṣaṇaṁ is a very particular one, which is separation in union. We'll see that eventually in other sections of the Bhagavad, in Brahma Gita and so on. And even interestingly, when the gopis are experiencing the separation they are experiencing now, or some other types of separation apart from Purvarag, in their subjective experience, they may even feel we have never met with Krishna, even though they have already met with him. This is the nature of anurag, which is one of the stages of prem, which means it makes you feel the lover's beauty as totally new. The whole experience is like if you're experiencing that for the first time. So many instances we find that on the side of the gopis, on the side of Krishna. Krishna speaking to Subal, oh, I saw this girl, I cannot remember her name, and I was crazy, I would like to meet her someday. And he was already with Radha yesterday or some hours before, but the nature of anurag, it's updating itself to such a point, upgrading itself to such a point that you feel this is the first time again. So the first meaning of viharaṇaṁ means to walk with friends, refers to Purvarag. But if the gopis are referring not to Purvarag, but to their present type of separation after meeting Krishna, in this way, viharaṇaṁ can mean to walk with the lady, because Krishna was already walking with the gopis before the Rasa Lila, then the Rasa Lila, and then Krishna disappeared. So some ideas regarding this 3rd udipana, or stimulant called vihara. And the last one is rahasi saṁvido, intimate conversations. Rahasi saṁvido, hṛdi spṛśaḥ, as you say. Hṛdi spṛśaḥ means that touch the heart. So they are speaking here about words that go to the heart. Because you can speak words, but they can enter one ear and leave through the other. They can go to the head and just remain stuck there, or whatever. Or they can go to the head and finally go to the heart and hopefully remain there. In the case of the gopis, Krishna's words go straight to the heart. No filter, no ears, no head, brain-dead bhakti, as Srila Maharaj will say, Gyan Sunya Bhakti. So here they refer to this 4th, most powerful udipana, Krishna's sweet, intimate conversations. So saṁvido, generally translated as conversation, but more specifically has to do with friendly conversation, joking conversation, which also are called narma samlapa. Narma samlapa. Narma means friend, as you know, priya-narma. So narma means friendly joking specifically, and samlap means conversation. And also narma, which means joking, sometimes through jokes, you say things that indirectly. That's the purpose of jokes, to mention very serious things that are so serious that you have to tell them by joking. Indirectly. Again, another form of indirect speech. So narma also may imply this point, that the conversation has a hidden meaning, which is quite opposite to the external meaning, to what it seems they are being said. So the gopis are remembering this example of joking conversation, how Krishna spoke with them with different levels of implication, with deep hidden imports. Remember the very Rasa Lila, Krishna playing the flute, calling the gopis to the forest, gopis appearing there, but eventually he telling themselves go back home. So this is Narma's lab, because he still was friendly, he still was charming, playful, joking, and he was implying something completely different from what was officially externally spoken. So here now the gopis, again, they are on the bank of the Jamuna. So they are referring to that conversation that happened some hours, minutes ago, whatever, some while ago. They have this conversation, exchange with Krishna, the moonlight, autumn moonlight, the beginning of Rasa Lila. They are remembering all this. So they are saying here that, no, with our hearts, we heard your intimate words and we understood what you actually wanted. And you were too shy to express that, your real feelings, because they were too deep. Again, prem is not to be exposed outwardly. So the gopis are implying this. We understood what was your heart desire, the things you were speaking to us through your heart, through your silence, your indirect speech. So you were too shy to express your real feelings, and we as well were too shy to express ours. So now we are remembering that exchange. Our hearts contain such sweet memories, such loving talks and pastimes, but now we are in separation from you. So those same memories are the cause of deep sorrow. So rahasi saṁvido. Also this quote, rahasi saṁvido, intimate conversation, this also has its own like speciality. Because Krishna, the point is that Krishna loving talks with the gopis are touched, the hṛdi spṛśaḥ, they say, they touched our hearts. They touched their hearts so deeply that this conversation became like embedded there. Impossible for them to take them out. So as a result, the gopis cannot remove remembrance of those intimate conversations at any time. Try to imagine, get close to the idea of what's that. We generally easily forget so many things. Even if we so-called love someone and that person, I don't know, for force of circumstance left this world or has to travel into other place, we can no longer be with that person. We generally in this world, we find someone else very quickly, or after some months, years, we suffer, we think of it, but eventually we forget and we continue. But we know the example of the gopis is extreme. No? After hundreds of years, Krishna is living Vrindavan, they're just retained in the perfect way all of these remembrances of what every single sight, glance, word, exchange, they're totally updated. So they cannot remove that from their memory, even if they would like to, because they're suffering so much. When you are suffering too much, you're trying to forget what you are thinking about. You're trying to distract yourself. You start to do something else, thinking of something else. So my mind is not giving me pain, because pain is there in the mind, basically. So you're trying to direct your mind into another direction, so you are not experiencing that distress. But the gopis cannot do so. They have no second option. They have no second direction to which direct their minds and thus forget Krishna. You follow? They have no free will, because free will, when I say this is free will, implies at least two choices, Krishna, Maya, in general terms. If you don't have a second choice, there's no free will. I mean, if the only option is love Krishna, we cannot speak about free will. So the gopis have chosen properly from time immemorial, let's say, so they do not have a second option. They do not want it, of course. But even if they try in the dynamic of the lila, they cannot. No? It is said that once the gopis got together and were suffering so much in separation from Krishna, and they say we are suffering so much by thinking about Krishna, by remembering in detail every single exchange he had with us. We would like to rest for a minute about that. So all of them decide, okay, let's sit for a minute and forget Krishna. Stop thinking about him for a millisecond, for a lava, for a little, 1 millisecond. So they sat in circle like yogis, like a yogi who is trying to concentrate their mind and meditate in a particular direction and remember Krishna. So the gopis sat like divine yoginis and fully make their best effort possible, trying not to meditate in Krishna, but to stop meditating on Krishna. That's a particular conception, to try to forget Krishna. So they tried, but hard. They make real effort to get grace, if you will. But they receive another type of grace, which was they were not able to forget about Krishna. After some minutes, they look at each other like, were you able to do so? No. Were you able to do so? No. So even if we make a big effort to think about Krishna, sometimes we cannot. The Gopi standards, they make a big effort to forget Krishna. They cannot. So all this is a way of speaking about the glory of their absorption, basically. So these are the four terms presented in this verse. Prahasitaṁ, priya-prema-vīkṣaṇaṁ, viharaṇaṁ, rahasi saṁvido. Krishna's smiling, eminent smile, love-filled glance, intimate pastime, and secret intimate conversation. So Sanatana Goswami, his Brihad Bhagavad Toshani, he's mentioning Brihad Vaishnava Toshani, he's mentioning that each one of these four is successively superior to the others in terms of agitation, thus making the fourth the best of all. Where there is the smile saying something, there is the glance saying something more, there is the exchange, the lilas, certain lilas, and eventually the intimate talks. With all the other things are included there, basically, let's say. Because there can be lilas without intimate talks, but there will be smile and glances. There can be a smile without certain sigh, whatever. But the point is that rahasi saṁvido, the last one, intimate conversation, includes all this: smile, glance, lila, and the intimacy, the confidential, intimate exchange. So the gopis are concluding here in this verse like this. We believed, again, kuhaka, cheater, deceiver, we believed that these interactions were based on true love. Here a gopi of left wing gopi, of course, speaking. But now we are seeing that you are nothing but a cheater and a hypocrite. You are a kuhaka. You never spoke to us from the core of your heart. You spoke only to cheat us. If you only had love for us, affection for us, you will appear before us, but you do not. You are not appearing. Again, the idea of all this appear before us. The drift of the whole vocative kuhaka, cheater, is here that you had said things, but you did not live up to the expectations. So now we are here dying. So that's the conclusion of this verse. Again, over and over again, as you can see, Tvaidrishyatam, appear before us. So some words regarding this 10th verse I wanted to share with you today. So this is the first of 3 verses, as I told you, where the gopis will present the reasoning for their madness and why they cannot only live through Harikatha, and what some scars, what impressions they receive by previous association with Krishna, and that's why they need him to be there present before them. So I don't know if you have any questions. We have some minutes.
Hare Krishna Swami, I might have one question.
Yes. What's your name?
I don't feel very at home in the... Oh, my name? Haricharandas, my initiated name.
Okay. My pleasure. Tell me.
Yes, it's not related, or not directly related, or I don't know. I don't feel very at home in 10th canto, so I have no question on this. But Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is also telling sweet words, and Sanjay is saying he's smiling as he begins to speak the Bhagavad Gita.
Yes.
And it's been talked about before how he's actually remembering his meeting with the gopis and such, but I don't know this very well. So maybe you could relate this, what you have been saying about his sweet words and sweet smile, to what kind of... You also talked the other day about Krishna is talking a language of love. Which language of love is it that he's talking in Srimad Bhagavad Gita?
Which kind of language are you talking in where?
In the Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita, okay.
Yes.
Well, of course, there are different languages of love, if you will, because there are different types of love. So you can say there are different languages, each one connected to a type of love. And of course, Bhagavad Gita is also spoken in the language of love. as well of the Bhagavad, as Guru Maharaj will say. That's the language of the Bhagavad and the Gita. It's not Sanskrit, but it's Samadhi Bhashya, the language of trance, which further implies which trance? Well, love. That's the ultimate trance. We are seeing that in the Gopis here. So in the Bhagavad Gita, we know the Bhagavad is the sequel to the Bhagavad Gita. So there is a connection between the two smiles of Krishna, if you will, in one place and the other. And as Guru Maharaj very nicely pointed in his commentary to the Gita, on different instances of his discussion with Arjuna, and Krishna is having a glimpse, he's remembering his previous interaction there with the Brajavasis, and especially in this case with the Gopis. As you know, Krishna met the Brajavasis in Kurukshetra before speaking the Bhagavad Gita for the solar eclipse, and that was a really intense emotional moment for him when he eventually declared Bhai Bhaktirihi Bhutanam Amritatvaya Kalpate Yadistyam Matneho Bhavatinam Madapanam. He said, actually, you say that you feel fortunate, he said to the Gopis, by having me, but I am the one who feels fortunate by having you in my life. I am in depth to you, and so on. So in the Bhagavad Gita, we find between the lines, again, the Bhagavad Gita is not overtly saying certain things that are being more clearly saying in the Bhagavad, although the Bhagavad also speaks indirectly. But the Bhagavad Gita is, of course, I don't want to say an introductory book, because it's not an introductory book. You may say introductory in comparison to the Bhagavad, but even in seed form, the whole Bhagavad is there. But you need, of course, to unpack the whole meaning. As Guru Maharaj will say, if you see only the cover of the Bhagavad Gita, if you have eyes to see, you will go to the very essence of the Gita, which is God serving his devotee. Krishna being Parthasarathi, being the charioteer of Arjuna. So the cover of the book is speaking about what the book is about. A type of love that makes Krishna the servant of his servant. So, but of course, generally it's not enough to only see the cover. We need to open the book and read the 700 verses many times, the purpose many times, and complement that with other books. So, so yes, Krishna's, again, as I say, Krishna is smiling in the Gita, he's smiling in the Bhagavad, he's smiling always. His smile is never leaving him. But of course, according to the particular circumstance, to the particular love of the devotee, the smile will reciprocate accordingly. So when he's speaking to Arjuna, there is a particular type of love there. So there will be a particular type of smile, connection to Arjuna's plight, necessity, and bhakti. But we can say, of course, again, in a deeper way, you can make a case for, yes, Krishna at certain points, he's of course remembering Kurukshetra in the context of meeting the Brajavasis, and a different smile will come there, no doubt. Who has eyes to see that in the battlefield, that's another thing, no? But our acharyas have seen that and have pointed to that to us, fortunately. So we are able to connect the Bhagavad Gita in that way to the Bhagavad, because many people don't make a connection between the Gita and the Bhagavad. Many people read the Gita and do not reach any conclusion. They only think Krishna is speaking about karma, jnana, bhakti, and you choose the one you like the most, or something like this. They are not seeing some progression, some conclusion, some crescendo, if you will, no? But we have very fortunate to have this type of particular eye, no? to just see the cover of the book and be connected with the very essence of the whole treatise. So some ideas regarding your question. I don't know if I understood it properly, but I wanted to share that regarding Krishna's smile here and there, Gita and Bhagavad, the interaction a little bit between the two. Okay, so
Thank
something
you,
else? No, thank you. Something else? Another question?
Maharaj, I have a question. Well, you were making the comment about how everything in Gokul or Golok is facilitating the love life of Krishna and his beloved gopis. And can we say that about the whole creation, material and spiritual creation? That it's all simply to facilitate Krishna's love life?
Yeah, exactly. It say that, well, the very first verse, this line that Eko Bahu Sham and Loka Batu Lila Kaivalyam, these two ideas that are Vedic sutras. No, it's okay. No? The scriptures say the one desire to become many, Eko Bahu Sham and Loka Batu Lila Kaivalyam. All these Srishti Lila or creation Lila, it's manifesting out of the joy of Bhagavan. So what's that joy ultimately, of course? No? And who is that Bhagavan ultimately? And we will have to conclude at the feet of Radha and Krishna, if you will. No? So yes, it is said that the whole Srishti Lila, the whole creation, in ultimate sense, has the purpose to serve the joy connected to the union between Radha and Krishna, facilitate that in the form of presenting a playground, in the form of the Bhoma Lila, for example, when you have this added feature, extra sweetness, earthly like Lila, and also extending the possible, and all the things that come from that, no, as you know, no, so many, a big meta narrative inside that whole implication, because we speak about Gokul, Bhoma Lila, Vrindavan, but we have immediately to speak about Gaur Lila, because the consequence of that Krishna Lila is that Krishna wants to taste something. He will do that on earth as Mahaprabhu. Of course, he's doing that also in Nityanavadvip, but again, earth, planet, Srishti Lila facilitates in a particular way. So that will be also auspicious for that purpose regarding Gaur Lila tasting, Krishna tasting Radha Bhav, and by extension, the Jivas are being totally blessed by entering in touch with such a gift. So eventually, if you really, strictly speaking, conceive the whole Srishti Lila in proper terms, the whole Srishti Lila is becoming pointing to this purpose. And it has the potential of that. That's the whole conclusion. That's what Uddhav said. He said, oh, the gopis have fully realized the meaning of being a human in this world. They have reached this Govinda eva nikilatmani Rudha Bhava. They have developed a Rudha Bhava, extreme affection for Govinda. So that's the ultimate meaning of being a human, and by extension of inhabiting the Srishti Lila. So there are many other statements like this in the scripture. I want to recall one specific that I heard recently, and it's not coming. So it will go by private message when it decides to manifest itself. But it's very direct in this connection, like specifically saying this point, like the whole Srishti Lila, the whole creation, actually eventually is there as a byproduct of what's going on in Golok, and with the purpose of further nurturing what will be continuing going on there, here and there, Golok, Gokul, of course. So yeah, it's a necessary way eventually to perceive that will be the epiphany that the advanced devotee will have. In the beginning, no, let's say Kanishta Bhakta, to say in general terms, but the Kanishta Bhakta won't be very able to connect this world with Krishna. Even won't have very much fixed Sambandha Gyan. No? Who is Krishna? What's the world? Who I am? And what's the interconnection between all the things? A neophyte devotee will see the world, but won't see Krishna in the center, won't see its source, will see the world with eyes of enjoyment, with lack of humility, in the words of Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta, enjoying a spirit. Still that's there, of course, in the conditioned soul, but also to some degree in the neophyte, because Sambandha Gyan is not fully established in theory nor in realization. A Madhyam Bhakta will have this Sambandha Gyan properly established, will be engaging in Abhideya properly, in a Bhakti. So he will see all the world as Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta say, potential paraphernalia to be used in the service of Krishna. So he will be always thinking about how to connect each atom to its source, if you will. That's what the whole Arctic paraphernalia means: incense, lamp, water. Actually, the 5 elements are represented there: water, fire, ether, air, and which is the other one? Earth. No? Incense with earth and smell, water with water, lamp with fire, chamara with air and the fan, the sound with the ether, the conch shell, the bell. So the point is, when you are offering artik, you are offering earth, water, fire, and so on. All the ingredients which the world is made of. So you are offering the world with all its possibilities and expectations and whatever is taken. You're offering that to whom? You are not putting the plate to you first. You're offering that to Guru, Vaishnavas, and their lordships, Krishna Balaram, Sri Sri Gaura-Nitai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna. The whole world, you are establishing a connection between the whole world and understanding the whole world has the potential to become an offering to its source. And eventually you receive the remnants for that. But after Krishna tasted that, that's prasad. So that's the vision of the Madhyamadikar. He, she will have that realization. But an Uttamadikar will fully merge into this realization even beyond that. Not only the world has a connection to its source and I should behave in such a way, but the whole lila here is there for, the whole Srishti lila is there here to facilitate the other lila, if you will, which also appears in the context of Srishti lila, the Bhoma lila. So he will start to inhabit the lila, basically. The Srishti lila will take him to the Nitya lila, if you will. Some ideas regarding that, but an advanced devotee will really connect the world and the world dynamics and the world situations, even coronavirus included, and something connected. I think Guru Maharaj once, who said that? I'm trying to remember. One devotee say like, when there is some tsunami in this world, it most probably say at that moment maybe Sri Radha is feeling some intense ecstasy in separation of Krishna, and that the repercussion of that comes here in the form of tsunami. Like implying there is some tsunami there, emotional tsunami, and the diluted effect here is like, well, physical, geographical tsunami. They will connect that like in an spontaneous way, because they will be there in one way. They are there, they're here also, but they cannot avoid to connect here. So you're entering more and more into a meditational realm. So that's interesting. So some ideas. So we can know how to do a very practical way of dealing with the world and not seeing the world as something bad. No, because sometimes devotees have this, immature devotees have this idea, no, rejecting the world. This is Maya, or whatever. No, I want to get far from that. And the Bhagavatam is saying the opposite. If it says even if you properly speak about Maya and relate to her from the proper angle, Maya Atman Namohyati, says the Bhagavatam, you will be free from Maya. Because if you understand what's Maya, what's the purpose of Maya, you will transcend Maya. And you will serve Maya in the proper way. The ones who are in Maya are not serving Maya. So, well, some other ideas, no? Mahamaya, Yogamaya, Ki Jai.
Right.
Wow, thank you. That was very comprehensive and really nice answer. Thank you.
So I don't know. We have time maybe for one more question. And that's all. So I don't know if there is any other question. If not, we may finish here.
Maharaj, can you hear me?
Sure?
Yes, Pranam.
Yeah. Yes, tell me.
I'm wondering, as the gopis remember their most intimate moments with Krishna, what's the place for a sadhaka to remember their most powerful moments of sadhana?
What's the place for sadhaka to remember the most powerful moments? What not? What else?
Their most powerful moments of sadhana, most inspired moments of the time.
Of sadhana.
Yeah, in such a way to create inspiration.
Yeah. Well.
Does that make sense?
Yes, of course. Yeah, of course we are. Again, we cannot imitate the gopis, and we have not associated with Krishna personally yet. So for us, in our particular situation and whatever affinity we may have as sadhakas, still we have association with Krishna in a particular way in the context of purva raga, of properly culturing separation before meeting, before any type of meeting, and getting to reach him through Krishna, through his form of Srinam, Guru, Vaishnavas, and so many things that will provide naturally certain experiences will be really effective in our lives, effective and effective. And it's very important to have their present in our minds and to remind ourselves between ourselves about that. That's also a form of harikata, and to share the insights we have had. No, that's like always the devotees say that they like to hear how other devotees met the devotees, because there's always some supernatural story behind that you will never forget. So again, that's an instance of how the extraordinariness of Krishna consciousness touch your life. So you will remember that, and that will give you new faith even in your difficult moments. You should remember, no, those moments that gave you faith, gave you reason to be a devotee, gave you so many things. So those remembrances will be very powerful. And of course, hearing from other ones their own insights, that's the whole idea of sadhu sangam harikata. Machita mat kata pranab bodhayanta parasparam. Katayanta shramam mityantu shanti charamanti. That's a form of harikata and of nurturing one another, remembering those moments. And even if, and I'm sure that there are some moments that you may not be able to remember, but anyhow, they were powerful. So even if you may not remember some of them, you will remember some of them for sure. And the ones you are not remembering, they are still having some effect on you. They have created particular samskars, no? Particular bhakti samskars, which are creating a new person, basically, creating ourselves, if you will. So be the case that we remember then or not, those intense moments of sadhana are really affecting our eternal prospect. But of course, the ones we do remember, it's very auspicious to recall them, because of course not in a nostalgic way, living in the past also, because that can happen. I've seen devotees just going getting lost into an ocean of nostalgia. No? Do you remember 30 years ago when we were out to sing in the streets, and those were so sweet, nice times? And indeed they were, but nowadays you should be experiencing some sweet times as well, even sweeter. If you take proper advantage and you properly appreciate what you received in the past, you should be experiencing something higher in the present, but by the grace of those things. I remember once one devotee told me, I would like to experience those things that I experienced the first day I joined the temple. Like she was telling to me, I want to go back there and remain there forever. And say, oh no, I don't want that at all. I felt, no. I mean, it was beautiful, but it is in the form of an upgrading of that, but I don't want to go back. It's like if I say to my mom, it was so beautiful when I was only 1 year old, and I was not able to go to the bathroom, and you were changing myself and cleaning. I want to go back there, please. My mom would say, you are totally crazy. No, you are an adult. You have things to do. And she will say, that was beautiful for me also, but that was. And that created the foundation for you to learn how to clean yourself, for you to learn so many things, and for you to be doing certain things now. So that's also very tricky. We have to be careful about the tricky nostalgic past issue. We have to remember those things. But we have to understand, if you have a powerful experience in sadhana, it doesn't belong to time. It doesn't belong to past, present, future. It's an eternal thing, because it's bhakti affecting our lives. So bhakti is not tied to time. So we can remember those fond memories, but understand that's not trapped in time. That's not limited to the past moment. It should be present now, because if not, we're just going to some dead thing trying to make it alive again. So if you understand what I experienced with my Guru Maharaj chanting Harinam or whatever 20 years ago, how that specific experience is playing itself out right now. We should be dynamic and progressive in our approach to this. So, but yeah, hopefully I answered something of your question. Okay, so I think we can end here. Thank you very much to all of you for your time and your presence, and see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is our last day of this week, and after that we'll see each other again on Monday. So thank you very much. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Sriman Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Shri Gaur Radha Madhava ki jai, Shri Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Gopi Gita ki jai, Vrinda ki jai, Gopi-Manand Hari Bo, Kalpataru
Padmanabha Maharaj ki jai.
Namo Namaha. Nanda Koti Vrindavan ki jai. Hari Bo.
Haribo.
Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. Have nice resting, nice lunch, nice dinner, whatever you are feeling.
Thank you. You too.
Haribo.